When you're not looking, when you think you'll get away with it again. Your fate is sealed. Your fate is sealed. We're gonna fight for freedom, and we don't care if we die. Oh yeah! Underestimate us. You underestimate us.
We sit in the sun and wait. We sleep and we dream. Each of us dying slowly in the prison of our minds.
You underestimate us at your own peril. La 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 la.
This could scare you.
La 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 la. You're not going to be here tomorrow. No. Oh, you underestimate the situation. It's a situation. One of us has to go. It's gonna be you. Yeah. Yeah. You. It's gonna be you. It's gonna be you. It's a fact of life. One of us has to go. It's gonna be you. It's gonna be you.
Got to start with that because it's believe it or not, we feel the influence of the evening getting colder, and so there you are. Here we are and then the sound of the fountain. Got to have the sound of water and the sound of fire, and it makes it nice here for the sun up. So I spent going to keep my powder dry until the whole Biden thing played out, but now it's gone so far beyond expectations in terms of creating a global crisis, and then a crisis of globalists, where globalists are divided, and or the American left, if you will, completely divided and at each other's throats, and naturally having no solutions to anything, as usual, because they only think with five senses at most. But it really is quite profound how to see the all the arrangements, all the blackmail, all the the friendships, all the people that betrayed. To see Obama come out of the woodwork and be the guy telling, quarterbacking this coup and wanting Joe to go along with his own coup d'etat. And like I told you, that night, he was in the spirit, he was struck dead. And now they're just all arguing over the, basically the money, right? What are the terms of surrender? And, I can just tell you that I don't know that I could solve it. It's a conundrum, but it has to do with karma. Again, so many people are getting, caught up in this wood chipper and getting slain. And so it's not just Biden that was struck dead. And the interesting thing about him is I'm concerned about his real death. His real death that would be a physical death by being pushed too hard and too much. At his age, they had to pump him up full of drugs, in my opinion. That's what it looked like. That's what it sounded like to me. And that's got to wreak havoc on his system. So, I'd be very concerned that they might just beat the horse to death, and he can't really fend for himself because his wife is really calling all the shots now, and his son. So I listened to the voice, to his voice, and to basically it really doesn't even sound like the same guy as before the debate. It's like there's a different guy and there's a different thing going on. And while it's true, people can be. I think what the debate really represented was the people have been praying and asking, "Oh Lord, how long do we suffer under this obvious lie after lie after lie after lie?" And then, locking people up that didn't trespass anything and maybe made a post or a meme or something. Complete police state tyranny. Lord, how long, Lord, oh please. It's just now they don't even try to hide the lies. It's just one after the other. And I get a response. And the response I get, well, the people are willfully stupid. What their real sin is of the people of America is cowardice. They're afraid to rock the boat because there's still hope in their 401k, or there's still hope in their job, and they still keep getting a paycheck despite the fact that it looks like this thing could go off the cliff. No, I'm not saying that I blame them. I'm just saying that creates, if the love of money, if money is first, and there is no God second, there's no such thing. You don't put God second because there is no such thing. Understand? No such thing. No such thing. It'd be like the table is made of wood here. I say it's made of tinfoil. No such thing. God second. No such thing exists. But when you do, but you can do it with your free will. You can say, I'm concerned about my 401k. I don't want to be locked up. I'm going to do whatever they tell me. I'm going to vote for that credit score, that CBDC money. I'm going to mind my P's and Q's, and I'm going to get, I'm going to get the cheese. I'm going to get the cheese. Yeah. I'm going to get the cheese. And I got a family to feed, and it's like, yes, all of that blather, all of that drivel, all of that is under the, is the same sin as the Babylonian captivity. People say, oh, it's unfair that the Jews got carried off to Babylon and all their properties were ransacked and taken over by others. Yeah. Well, isn't that awful that God did that? God didn't do that. Well, what happened? What happened is they made a choice. They worship their houses and their stores of grains and their farms and their community and their religion and their latte and their lawsuit and their to cite Tool. They put all that first. I'll bet they would line up for the jab. They would get the jab. Okay, do 10, I'll do 100. I'm fully vaccinated. Why should I die at 37 years old? So really, I don't even want to go back through addressing it. I don't want to address, oh, they're all liars. I don't want to, again, they're all. You can just write them all off. Is there anything that would motivate the cowardly left and right to the level of, let's say, a God first? No, there's nothing that will cause them to put God first. And even if you destroy them all, even in captivity, it would take them thousands of years probably to realize what had happened, if they would realize it at all. So no on that. And some of you older guys, you've been around, you've seen generations come and go. That's true. I had contact with an old schoolmate. I saw him and he had become an artist, photographer. I thought, oh, maybe we have something in common, and I sent him a message and it was ignored. But when I got in the spirit, I was completely ignored. And this was like schoolmates. It's like, wow, whoa, what did I do? What did I do to deserve that? And well, it's not what I did. It's cowardice. Because what I represent is the truth of, what's going on, okay? And, ending human trafficking, satanic abuse, ritual abuse, adrenochrome abuse, sex abuse, this abuse, that abuse, trying to make it a better place. But, people that have stayed silent and on the sidelines, they're causing it all. They're causing it even more than the Johns that go after children. They're causing it more than they're causing the entire debacle of society. So I look at California. I wanted to blame it on, say, Democrats, right? Because it's Democrat rule. But I'm wrong, because there's a lot of people that are affiliated, not affiliated with a party. It's got nothing to do with politics. It has to do with, okay, are we going to come clean and admit our own our own involvement? What's my involvement? I tried to get these people that were perpetrating lots of these evils to like me, but I wasn't going to do evil in that sense, and so it never really worked out. But I mean, I wanted them to like me, and I wanted to like them. I mean, there was a split back in high school, and it's like, but that split, son, is bigger than Earth. It's bigger than a quasar. It's bigger than the Milky Way. It's bigger than the universe. It's bigger than existence. Oh, you're not fooling around with little powers here. You're fooling around with the power. The power. The power. The power to create worlds, to create earths, to create drama, to create all these things that have been created and continue to be created. So what is the earth then? What is the world system? The world system is created by men for the purpose of covering their crimes ultimately against humanity. Would you like that again? I can't remember it. Don't ask me. I can't remember it. I gotta have my glasses. I'm sorry. I was just waking out of these. Some of you liked these in the past. What kind of American are you? And the mind control is thick. And these people are not about to give up power. So they're going to put all their hopes and dreams into the election. And I think the smart money is on, yes, continue what you're doing. I'm not here to say, there should have already been an off the cliff. There's not going to be an off the cliff disaster until it comes out of natural consequences by the real perpetrators, the average man and woman, or adults that don't stand up for anything, that just are going along, know what the evil is, but are looking the other way. That's considered worse than actually doing it in God terms, in spiritual terms. So that's why we are where we are. You don't need to listen to any other tapes. Tapes dates me. You don't need to listen to any other podcasts. You don't need to listen to anything. Just let a couple of my sentences and you're good to go. There's nothing else. There's no other cause. There is no other reason. There is no other cause. There's only one cause to the strife on earth, and it's humans that rejected God in order to be favored or taken care of by the system. Just like the illegals coming across the border, and they're going to be taken care of for life by the system, because those are precious new voters, designed to bring Obama's uniparty, Obama's party, Obama's uniparty into existence by locking up the opposition, locking up the patriots, that really they're locking up the Christians, and and making sure that give us Barabbas. What? What kind of American are you? I'm from Hong Kong. Boom. If you saw Civil War, no, it's a piece of propaganda. So I would say don't worry about it. But there was a sequence in it that I really loved. We'll call it the Jesse Plemons sequence. He was a regular on Breaking Bad as an actor, but now he's fully come into his own. And they should really just do a movies based on him, as the lead. And anyway, he goes, "What kind of American are you?" And he goes, I'm from Hong Kong. Boom, blows him away. And he represents, the patriots, right? You're from Hong Kong, xenophobia, boom. You want to get an abortion, lock her up. These people are against democracy. Well, imagine they're going to take away the rights of women. What right don't women have? Abortion. They're going to take away abortion, and they're gonna. It's racist to bring back the rule of law. It's racist to bring back a good economy. It's racist to expect people to read in the 8th grade level. It's completely racist. So, the absurdity, of course, you can feel that, right? And so that's not going to change. That's a constant. Just stays there. Constant. It's a constant frequency, ignorance. And due to ignorance is how we got in this situation. But, you can't be too hard on people, because, you understand they get trained to get the cheese. I get my paycheck if I'm good. And being good means being bad. But I mean, it's being, you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily mean being a perpetrator of crimes, but where the bodies are buried, and you cover, and you're trustworthy. And then they make sure that they take care of you, because when you're needed and you get that phone call, you got to tell the grand jury this or that. What? I got to tell the grand jury something? Just say you didn't see anything. Your Honor, I didn't see anything. Okay, you just put your kids through college. Thank you. Well, thank you. Hey, it's a pretty good world. Let's go to Disneyland, huh? Shall we? Well, meanwhile, I find out about Disneyland. You want to know how crooked that place is? Disneyland, Anaheim, California. lots of accidents happen there. I don't know why, but they never get sued. Most of the cases are thrown out, and then most people never bring a complaint, a formal lawsuit against Disneyland. So they have a track record of lots of people injured, nobody suing. And you understand that, right? With the kind of power that Disney wields, nobody wants to oppose Disney and be on the wrong side of Disney, so they tend to keep their mouths shut. So that's how Biden got to where he is today, from that same pecking order. They're horrified that it would be even questioned by somebody. I mean, you must be mentally ill. You questioning a society? What's the matter with you? And it's like, okay. A lot of people are running to Jesus and religion, and even formalized religions, institutional religions, to save them, and that will not save them. If I murder somebody, I'm going to go to death row, if that's what it is, and be put to death for that murder. I can still worship Jesus. I can still have my walk in faith. I can share the gospel with fellow inmates. We can hold hands and pray. We can do a lot of things. We can have communion. But we really are going to have to endure the consequences of our actions, which means to suffer. To be born on earth is to suffer. Suffering leads to salvation. So suffering is beautiful, right? I had to hit rock bottom, and then finally I got sober. How many times have we heard that one? Right? I suffered a lot until I finally just couldn't suffer anymore. And then other people don't learn, and they're clipped and they're gone. But so how would I go about changing what is? Well, first of all, you have to realize there's already a uniparty in Washington, D.C. It's called the Washington, D.C. Politician. That's the party versus the people, which they don't represent. Numero uno. Okay. So obviously, what I'd have to do is I would have to arrest or remove like thousands of people from Washington, D.C. And I don't know what I would do with them, but I have to remove them from the equation. I've got to remove all these crooked judges and DAs and mayors and governors from all the states. Okay, I have to remove them all. I don't know how many thousands or even a million people, but we have to put them somewhere. So I remove them. Obviously, they're going to have to go to confinement somewhere. My suggestion is an island that they can't escape from. Let them work it out, and they can form their own laws and have their own democracy the way they like it. Like democracy now is basically you are entitled to rob if you need food, up to, I think in California, I was told it was, how many is it, $1,000, $2,000, that they won't prosecute you because you need it for food. Okay, so they can implement all that. And what they're really worried about is that people are going to come and change the laws on, especially, the progress that's been made with LGBTQIA, blah, 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 Black Lives Matter, social awareness, wokeism, DEI, and all of that stuff that was kind of based on Trump, which is interesting. It's all Trump's the catalyst for all of those things to come into view. And so they're using them to buttress against, hold the line to buttress against fascism, which would be telling people that, that certain things are not legal, certain things are, for example, if you really want to cut your dick off and, become a girl and all that, if there really is something like that of gender dysphoria, you might have to wait until you're of age to make those kind of decisions, something to that effect. That would be, in their mind, going against the forcing of kids, which forcing of kids to be neutered is democracy. It's love. Letting kids go when they have obviously a gender mismatch, and letting them go into teenage and even adulthood feeling confused or ashamed. This is the enemy represented by Trump and the church. And we must stand against that. And we must stand against Jesus. We must stand against any kind of common sense. Anything that they came up with, we must overturn it. We must open the borders. We must run the people ragged. And now the new thing, which was a prediction of mine, it's finally coming due. It's not too well publicized yet, but it will be. And that is the break-ins in luxury homes on the West Coast, particularly in Beverly Hills, Malibu. I think it was Goldie Hawn, and her husband. What's his name? They had to move out because of
Got broke in 4 times.
They got broke into 4 times, right? And so that's happening. And I always wondered, because like I said, in Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive goes right up into the neighborhoods, into these, multi-million-dollar homes. So there's no guard there. There's no fence there. What's it going to take? So when they're rioting down on Rodeo Drive and stealing, Louis Vuitton bags or whatever, how long before they cross Santa Monica Boulevard and get up into those, all the way from there to the Beverly Hills Hotel? And then back behind the Beverly Hills Hotel are the really rich mansions, they're really rich, way up above Sunset. And so how long will it be before they just have teams of people working those? Well, they're already working them. You've heard about Diddy and others. So that's going on, and that's a big coveted part of the operation to get into the suburbs. Number one, suburbs, number one. And you not only go to the house, that's empty or people on vacation, whether you not only go there, you go there and destroy it. You vandalize it, and then you take whatever's valuable and fence it. Okay. And so that's the new deal. And so the people and some of these people have voted, left, and Obama and all these programs have voted, along with their party for decades, and they live in these very expensive homes. They have more money than anybody, really. The left has all the money, and so the people that are on that side, they live in mansions. They ride around in airplanes. They're on private planes. They've got all that stuff. So isn't it ironic that they had put their money and their efforts toward getting these people elected to pass the laws they have passed? And then as they come to the house to loot and kill them, they themselves alone are the cause of their own demise. But they don't know this. And you can sit there and explain it and repeat yourself ad nauseum until, the cows come home. They're not going to see it. And it all goes back to that little coward that says, I'm afraid of not eating. I'm afraid of not having, of poverty. I'm afraid of being disconnected from society. I'm afraid of being, just lost. I'm afraid of being a derelict. And again, those are legitimate fears. There's nothing wrong with those fears. The problem comes when you don't admit them. And the reason that I say man is guilty of the inability of self-rule throughout the ages, throughout all the empires we've seen come and go. Man is incapable of self-rule because of conflicts like that within the soul. Not everybody is going to be gung-ho, gonzo, screaming for truth and, upending, overturning the money changers in the temple and getting the rule of law going and getting all this stuff hammered out and getting rid of the corrupt people. Who's going to do that? You're going to do that, Trish?
Sure.
But who's going to do that? I mean, so now we lower our expectation. We say, well, how are we going to survive? Well, we're going to survive because what we're going to do is we're going to continue to thrive and find solutions and alternative systems that, parallel economies, parallel farming, parallel medicine, and just be an offshoot of humanity, where we say, we see that the cause of unhappiness is corruption, and the biggest cause of mental illness is self-corruption, where you tell yourself you're a god, and then you harbor this dirty little secret. It doesn't matter what dirty little secret it is. It's just, there's a million of them. The one dirty little secret that cannot be uttered is the secret of how people get into and out of society. That's the whole point of my, if you will, ministry, of my whole point of stories I tell, is to show there's this, kind of do the George Carlin parody, the world is a club and you ain't in it. The world is a big club and many of your neighbors are in it. Those over there, they're spying on you. Look at those cameras. Look at those lenses. You're not in it, but they are. And they're feeding all that data to the others in the club. And they're all surrounding you where you live. Isn't that weird? What are you going to do, Johnny? Well, can't beat them, join them. Well, that's what people do. They figure the cost is too expensive. And so then the next thing they're asked to do is persecute the good people that don't lie, people that have got integrity. Make sure they fail at everything. And the more you do that, the bigger your bank account's going to grow. The more freedom you're going to have fun with your friends and be accepted in the high places. Celebrities will actually know what your name is and bow down to you. All you got to do is make sure people suffer. And I mean suffer, maybe die. That's a good way to, you can skip 30 steps on the board if you can, harass them into suicide or something. Yeah, you get a big mega pop for that one. But only if it's done in conjunction with the system. I mean, otherwise you can kill people and break things and steal things. It doesn't count. It's only going to count if you're part of the collective. What's the collective? Well, they laugh and go, well, you should know what the collective is. It's the age-old system of the earth. It's there to capture souls. They've captured most people. That's why you don't hear about it. So the people that worship Satan would be the majority of the people on earth. And even they're told that Satan doesn't exist. And seriously, nobody wants to know that, but you bring the name Jesus into it anywhere and they cower, they run, they hide, they get upset. It's not you saying it so much. It's not you. You don't have really any power here. It's the idea alone of that cornerstone of all society and civilization. You mean you built this whole thing without a cornerstone? You built all this? It has to necessarily collapse. When does it collapse? Well, and here's my prediction. I mean, some people said, well, did you mean that Biden would, really die? And I said, I believe he really did. I see him as dead. It's hard to, that something like that. How did that happen? That, my friends, was why you need prophets. People with prophetic voices. They may not act like prophets. They may not have a shingle out that says local prophet. And they may even be for profit, Profit. But these people that have prophetic gifts understand that was a movement of God, because it set the whole world, it changed it. And when it changes the whole world, it's not one man. It's not a couple of people. It's not Biden, he suddenly became impossible because he changed. And I liken it to death. He met his death. And so now the pathetic thing is he wants to get back in the arena with Trump, and he wants to whoop him this time. He wants to teach Trump a lesson he'll never forget. And, that's fine, but he's not really among the living anymore. He's really, an extension of Jill's ego and Hunter and whoever he really talks to, he's really got no personality, except he was bested by Trump and he just can't stand it. It's just driving him nuts. But other than that, the things that normally drive people nuts are not, they're not there to be driven nuts anymore. So there's been a big change. And then you saw the global crisis, all the masks came off. You saw Obama, Susan Rice is lurking in there somewhere. The same cast of characters. You've seen them wheel out James Carville. You've seen them, Hillary Clinton wheeled out. You've seen all these same people that have been working behind the scenes for this global reset. And so you know who they are. They brought you COVID and they want to bring you another disease. And they want to, basically they're at war with the people of Earth unless you become a slave or their robot. And that's kind of what we're dealing with. So my solution is the walk with the Lord. Keep your nose to the grindstone. Do the things, since you're on candid camera, pretty much you can't get away with lying, right? So drop all the lying, become a better man, become a better person, and that will be our solution. And I will take the same advice. Become more cognizant of when you lie. And you do that, you find that, gosh, you're always saying little lies. You don't mean to, but people do that just to have a conversation. They inadvertently lie. They don't mean to. It just rolls off their tongue, and then they don't want to take the embarrassing position of saying, oh, I just lied. I'm sorry. This is what I really meant. So try that. I mean, that's, I'm sorry that, we have a power vacuum in Washington and we don't have a president. We didn't have one, but now the door has slammed shut. And that's the death of the Biden crime family. And they're not going down easy. They're going down with a fight. And they know where all the buddies are buried. And they know that anyone that gives them any trouble, they'll be able to wheel out a dossier on them and ruin their lives. So that's what you have. You've got an incredible standoff, but they can't put Humpty back together. They can't put Biden back together. They can't make him fit. They can't make you accept his speeches. And something has changed so dramatically in the viewer and the viewee, in the actor and the one watching the acting. It has changed amongst us all. And to me, it was an arena. It was not a debate, but it was a gladiator duel. And one side won and one side lost. And one side died and one side lived. And so that's what I really mean, I'm sad that he didn't step down, because I realize he's being abused, and being, probably he deserves it, right? But it's standing there completely naked. It's the naked emperor, and he's got no clothes and no hope. And even if he had 4 more years, people would just be waiting for him to die in office. So it effectively ended that day. I think I was pretty right about that. Did he physically die? No, but I don't think I necessarily needed a physical death. It was really the end of something, the end of an era. And maybe, if we start living right, maybe that will happen. I know for a fact there's alternative economies, alternative jobs, alternative networks on TV. There's an alternative movements going on. It's just that they're in the pioneer stages. These will eventually become the pillars of society, because I believe society is sick and tired of the corruption. And all those Democrats who go, oh, they're really stupid. They're not stupid. They're programmed, yes, but they're there because they get something from their voting. They have a motivation to vote. And with that, I bid you. It's just further thoughts on it. We watched Today in Horror. If this is all about making Biden leave, then what's going on is there's golden parachute negotiation for those who cannot envision him running again. I really can't envision it, but this in this environment, I don't know. Usually it's about money when there's stuff in the background. Like when one powerful person says, you need to leave office. And then his wife goes, no, he's staying. You start to see just how close we are to a complete unraveling, and how far we are now from any kind of organizational, societal order at all. At all. So with that, the sun's just beginning to come up back there. Yeah, I got my bus out. I'm going through the systems once again. I'm hoping to be able to, I haven't been able to really deal with it, but she's high maintenance, but she needs to be used, I guess. And if I see out there on the road, I'll just throw a Bible at you. How's that? I'm going to have some Bibles with me. I'm going to have some who knows what. I met people out there painting beautiful paintings. I bought a couple down at Doheny Beach down in Orange County. And I've got one of those hanging above my bed, just a wave. Beautiful. They were, a lot of people call them homeless. They live down there in an RV, and during the day and at night, they have a place to park overnight. So they're back and forth, and they do paintings, and you can drive up to them and buy them. And the guys have got another one in a bathroom here that's tying in with some really nice tiles and really nice backgrounds. I'm waiting on one thing, and that is I bought a photograph called Black Swan. And I'm really, I don't know what it's going to be, but you can feel something building. Like there could be one of these Black Swan events pretty soon. With that, I bid you shalom. See you. Hey, where'd you go? I'll see you next time. Part two. Okay, so this is I guess will be the podcast offering, will be the audio. Then there's a video that kind of goes with it. I sort of covered everything on the video with Biden, and it's I want to call it Biden deceased, because it's what would they do if he had literally died. But it looked to me like the whole program was exposed. It became a global crisis. It far exceeded my expectations from the debate on to where we are today on the 12th of July, 2024. And I'll just say that, a lot of people are trying to figure out, well, how do you fix the country? Can you fix it with an election? No, I have the solution. We got to fix the country by fixing ourselves. We have to be better people, and we can be. And we have to find alternative solutions to the old system. The B system, the Federal Reserve, the global banking, just the way it is, it's not set up to let the entrepreneur succeed or the independent businessman succeed or whatever. It's meant to gather souls together in a kind of a hive situation and to form a collective, and that's called democracy. But what I know about freedom is it's anything but collective. Freedom is not dependent on what you think of me. Freedom is what I think, in my own, about myself, my body, my way I look, what I do. These are decisions I make, not from being pressured, but these are decisions I make because I'm an individual made that way by God. So I want to acknowledge that. At the same time, I realize that every time I've gone against the Lord, pretty much the consequences have always been severe, very severe. So it's kind of like, well, then be a better person so it's not so severe, because God is not mocked. And it says in Galatians, God is not mocked. What we reap, what we sow, so shall we reap. And that's a rule for everybody, for all people. And so what you want to be doing is sowing to the good and creating something good. Like people are working on the alternative food economy, and they intend to feed lots of people, but without the corrupting chemicals and without the corrupting, conditions. Even in places like Whole Foods, store, supposedly an upscale organic. No, don't wait again. They don't have to tell you if it's organic or not. A lot of things that say organic are not organic. It's part of the old system. But co-ops, farmers, little farmers, that people that are able to contribute to this meat, whatever, and manage to get by the terrorists have a chance of doing something good. At least you're making the effort, But you can't make the effort unless you're free, because if you're not free, you will ask permission to do something. You will be funneled back into the same system that brought you to the miserable situation that you're in right now. Let me sum it up. The kids consider you, over the hill. They don't listen. They're gone. They're woke. You've been abandoned. Your wife and you are estranged. Nobody knows what to do. Well, okay, so here's what to do. You got to put God first in the relationship, and put it first in your head. And God first just means, look, I acknowledge that where I'm sitting right now and everything I see and whatever blessings I have, comforts I have, and whatever things I want that I don't have, it's all of this has been created by God. All of this has been the healing that I've gone through, the sickness I still have. It's all a process with God. None of it is really my design. So I recognize that I'm here dependent on that understanding that I'm a created being. Created by who? Created by God, the creator of the universe. And I look into the Bible, and I look elsewhere, and I look into meditation, I look into things to amplify that understanding that I am not alone. And believe me, I couldn't have gotten through the hospital experience and the hospital abuse, which was pretty severe, unless I had a relationship with God. I would have been screaming for mommy, mommy. I mean, help. I've been overridden. They've overridden my will. I'm now their slave. And to keep your integrity in a situation like that, where you've got these people against you and you don't have any legs to walk, and you're going to have to contend with it. Well, you need something. Okay, so a guy's going to prison. You're in prison. There you are in the B system in prison because you are the wrong political party. You believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. You believe in the Word of God. You try to put it into practice. You realize you're a sinner. I'm a sinner. We're sinners, but we're trying to recognize that's the condition we're born in, accepting the truth, so we can accept the truth that we are created by God. If I start denying obvious truths and denying that they happened, then I fall into I could very easily become a psychopath. I could become psychotic. I could become, a mentally ill victim. Low IQ is another result of going along to get along. And then eventually, it leads to misery. And I think, so we keep looking for someone to solve it. Trump will solve it. No, he won't solve it. The only thing that solves it is a change of heart, a change in heart and mind. Not me saying we need a change of heart and then I'm looking at you. We need a change of heart and I'm looking at me. I could certainly put God first even more. I could, definitely understand that every good thing I have comes from the Lord, not from my feeble efforts, but because I believed. I had to, because everything I wanted to do seemed impossible. And so how was I going to do something if I couldn't figure out how to do it? Like walking, for example, became impossible. How was I going to walk? I had to pray. And now I'm walking. Not a lot, but I'm walking. So these are the things that come to mind when I look at our politicians. I look at all the lies of the media, and it's just a really ugly place to be right now. And it's because people have been afraid to think outside the box or anything other than the thoughts implanted in them, and the mind control that is given from the frequencies of the television, 5G, the culture, just the way people are, the way they talk. That if you're unaware of how easy it is to program somebody, you're basically under hypnosis all day long. You have those brief minutes where you awaken and you go, "Wait, how did I get here? Wait, and then just within a couple of minutes, boom, it comes back and shuts down. They come in, oh, honey, everything's going great. There's nothing to worry about. Okay, you've done. I'm really proud of you for what you've done at work. Being, you were the salesman of the year. Yeah, well, and everyone's really happy with you, and you've been a success. But I got a glimpse of something. I saw something like maybe all of this was fake or something. But what do you think? Oh, well, I think it's time to schedule an evening out with our friends and let them remind you of how you've been a star performer. You've really done well. People really look up to you, and you're a great dad. Okay, I guess I'll just forget that thought I had. I just had this thought that everything was fake and that my whole life was programmed, and I haven't really even. I wouldn't even know what it is to live as me because I never have been me. Oh dear, stop that talk, or we're going to have to go see Dr. Monroe again. You want to see Dr. Monroe again? Well, not exactly. Well, if you'd like to, it's perfectly fine with me. The insurance will cover it. Okay. Well, you know best. I'm here to please. I don't want no trouble. That's any trouble. You don't want any trouble. Yes, I don't want any trouble. Not with anybody, especially, you remember the last time you went on one of these little journeys. You remember how all the neighbors started talking about you and they started saying you're crazy and people stopped listening to you and they'd stay away from you on the sidewalks. You remember that? That just seems so closed. So what's democracy? Democracy is following the rules. Okay. And you've done a masterful job the last 5 years. Why rock the boat now, Harold? I'm thinking of a Harold now. Why rock the boat now, Harry? I'm not trying to rock the boat. I could see something from I went to the library. I asked a librarian to help me to find some books about our realities, and things like that. Oh, was she young? Who? As I went to the library to read some books. The librarian, Harold. Oh, don't worry. I don't, I'm just a human, who could have been a robot. Huh. Well, that's a good thing because you're very, very susceptible to influence, and I don't want to see that. Yes, dear. Now, let's start planning. Where are we going to go on Saturday night? I thought we would go play bingo. I thought we would go to the movies. And then we'll have dinner and drinks. Well, that sure sounds fun. Yeah. You want to give all this up, do you, honey? Especially not you. Oh, well. Wear that cologne again. I'll eat you up. I'm sorry to have gone on like that. I'm sorry that I have to do that. It's because I understand Harold. He's willfully asleep. You see, he's put himself to sleep and not his wife. I mean, he's allowed his wife to bully him, to influence him. to reassure him there isn't anything else. This is it. Make the best of what you've got. And if we want to go to church, we're very happy to go to church. You know, where they reinstill the programming there nightly almost. Powerful sermons about loving your fellow man, not being suspicious. If we want our democracy to work, and democracy is the main thing, we have to be open and inclusive. Don't you agree, Harold? I certainly agree. I mean, I wouldn't want to be any other way because gosh, everyone's told me that same thing. We've really got to, you know, we've really got to open our doors and open our hearts and understand that we don't know everything, and and realize that there's all this gender fluidity and racism and global climate change and all these things are things that we have to address to make it a better world. And once we cooperate and are fully vaccinated, we will too take our place in the civilization of man that we built through painstaking efforts and cooperation. What man ever made anything without cooperation? No one. And when that's all over, we've got a really nice place to take you for when you're really old and you can't really feed yourself or get dressed. We have a place where you can relax and have fellowship with others and just have a beautiful time. How's that sound, honey? Yeah. Well, anyway, so that's the only conclusion I could really come to, though, that, it's sort of our fault through ignorance. It's not like, well, it's your fault. You shouldn't have done that. It's, of course we did. Of course we shouldn't have done that, but we did. And even the most pure among us took part in it. So there you go. But there is a solution. It's just not of this world. And that's what I really think. And you don't have to go into a building called church or anything else. It's within you. You're the tabernacle of the Most High God. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are not who you think you are. You've already won. You've already hit the lottery. It's just a matter of realizing it. And when you do, as far as the rest of the Biden controversy, I'm like you. I'm just watching. I'm just seeing how, okay, this inflection point brought by God and God alone, that brought the debate, followed by the global crisis, which was our confirmation that it was God and not man. Okay? So the rest of it, I trust, will play out perfectly. In other words, if you want to be a spectator, here is a good thing to spectate. What in the world's going to happen with Biden? What's going to happen with our Constitution? What's going to happen with America with being put in crisis by a duel? It was a duel between Biden and Trump, and Trump prevailed. They're not going to get another debate. There's no point. It's over. The Biden camp was, in my view, Biden was slain. I consider it over. I don't care if they talk about him running. I don't care if they talk about trying to keep him there and all that. It's over. He might as well be in a coffin. And that's just, the change happened that day. And now the consequences of that change is what you see in the world. So let's keep it simple, folks. It's not that hard to understand. And it's not that overwhelming. Don't you think it's easier, though, if you want to make a contribution, you just got to look in the mirror, tell yourself, you know what? Lord, I'm re-putting you first. And I'm going to be a better man. And I'm ready. I'm ready for those tests. When I was in the hospital, it would have been easy for me to blame God and all that because so many things went wrong. It's almost like a comedy of errors, my entire body. And but it was my opportunity to Yeah, there was no choice. God had to be there without distraction. And I found that I was able to cope with, and that's how I've had to cope with everything: medicine, decisions, decisions on what to do, who to see, how to get help. And I must put God first because I don't know what to do. I don't know. But when I do finally do something, there's a door that opens. I remember how I was talking to Govinda. I owe him a call, but if he's listening, I have not been able to return calls. Messengers, I don't deal with a messenger very often. I didn't realize it was that important. Like if you message me, that I should message you back. I get so tired. I don't know that I can do it. So I've tried to turn off the messenger best I could because I can't really deal with it. Making a comment here, you can make a comment to Trish that she could forward on to me. That'd be your best way of communicating with me if you like. And I will get.
Oh, that reminds me.
Yeah.
Matt said that on the
Mm-hmm.
Podbean, the comments are turned off. No,
Okay. I haven't been there in ages.
So, in case you wanted to allow them.
Podbean's kind of like the old shortwave radio to me. And by the way, Frankie, what do I understand? Frankie still got us going on WWCR on the weekend. You'll have to look it up, the Zeph Report on WWCR shortwave. Are there any of you that use shortwave? Because I used to love listening to my shortwave. And we used to have all shortwave wars, like what's the best shortwave you could get? And I think, what do we conclude? The Samsung or some one of these shortwaves? It wouldn't be a bad idea to have one of those today. I had a Grundig at one time. I think I still have it, but it's not like the old Grundig made in Germany. It's a new version, made in China, whatever. But if you're a radio guy like me, I used to spend like I remember when we went away to camp and I was homesick at camp, but I had my trusty radio. And to some of you understand, I had that little transistor radio, and everyone wanted their station on it. But boy, that sure got me through a lot of those long nights. Yep. It was really something, radio. And then it morphed into the internet. And then it morphed into movies, TV, everything streaming. And then it morphed into some kind of Frankenstein monster. That's what we have today. We're still trying to figure it out, at Crazed House. Crazed House has got, a bunch of awards lately for Dark Side of Society and for Angel Tide. Totally unexpected. I was just trying to finish the film that something I started 30 years ago, and I was unable to finish it. And now I was able to finish it, and it brought me full circle and had me dealing with my daughter's death again and trying to put that in its place without looking away, without denial, without shoving something down. And now she's forever memorialized in that film. It will come out. I don't know when. I think we made a deal with it. So you'll be able to probably stream it for free on something like a YouTube platform. I just have to see what's going to happen with our the next things we're doing, which is the Dark Side of Society also will be available on the usual places on, streaming TV, not Netflix, but everywhere else. And my favorite of those has been, oftentimes I'll just turn on, I'll go back to Girl Next and I'll turn it on, part of it, the thrilling end of it, on Tubi. And it tends to trend there. It's free. They have commercials, but they don't really bother me. One thing they do have is excellent sound and excellent picture. Best at best. And then Fandango isn't far behind. Those are free. See, I think this is the new thing is we're back to pay TV again. I mean, pay TV, meaning commercial TV, more and more, because nobody knows really how to make, really money from streaming. Some of the top titles get the money from streaming and do fine. But most people, the streaming barely pays for for its space. And there's all kinds of middlemen involved. So I think we're all trying to figure out how to make this thing work. And I believe that the answer is in free streaming. Because if you don't have to pay for it, you can just go, okay, look up Girl Next on Google. There it is on YouTube. You go bing, bing, you make 2 clicks, and there you are watching it. And then if you want to project that from your phone onto your big screen TV at home, you have that technology. You can sit there with full surround sound, watching it play off your phone, projecting to the TV. I don't know what more you need than that, right? But check Tubi out because they're now making original content. They're coming on strong. They're coming on fast, and it's because the industry is ready for that change. And I want to get involved in that kind of thing. I want to be able to tell you guys, you can. Here's the link. And there it is. Not go to Prime, do a search, Girl Next, or whatever it is. And there it is. Click it on, pay $2.99. No, I'd rather have the advertiser pay me. I want you to just sit and enjoy it. And if you want to see more, if you want to see a DVD or a Blu-ray, well, that can be arranged. I'd love to make Blu-rays on demand, where people want a Blu-ray and they get the full-on director's approved cut, and it's going to be even better. If for those of you who collect, there aren't that many collectors though, folks. Now, Shelley Duvall just died, and I have something to contribute to this. I have a Taschen box from The Shining that has, and I want to share with you guys, meaning I got to get some cameras in here to share. This would be a good thing to share right here on this table.
I could film it with my iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be filmed, and I want to show you what's in the box.
Or your iPhone.
It was they made 1,000 of them years ago, but now that Shelley Duvall has died, I mean, I'm not going to be cynical, but the price has gone up as these are collector items. But I want to share it with you. I told somebody, film school, all you need is this box, and go do likewise. Go be influenced by Stanley Kubrick. That's your best film school you're going to ever get. And it's got everything in there. It's got Polaroids. It's got handwritten notes. It's got handwritten script. It's got pictures you wouldn't believe. It's got notes from the set designers. It's got video. It's got documentaries done by Vivian Kubrick. And it's just, I mean, for those of you who consider Stanley the best of all time, the GOAT, as I do, I only collect books and stuff about him. I really don't collect other filmmakers. That's because he's so far ahead of everybody that there's no man that's comparable. God broke the mold. He had a 200 IQ or some ridiculous thing like that. He could understand. He was very psychic. Apparently, according to Alex Jones, he was able to remote view a lot of what he depicted in Doctor Strangelove and other films. Quite extraordinary. So that it's called The Shining. It's a box of memorabilia. It's like if you were on the set and you collected everything from the set and curated it, that's what this box is. It's a museum in and of itself of Stanley Kubrick.
Museum in a box.
Of his making of The Shining. It's a huge, heavy thing. I mean, it's not, it'd take a while to go through it.
Substantial.
But how exciting. And I met Shelley Duvall once in a Staples in Studio City, and she was trying to negotiate down the price of a printer. And then she was asking, and I'm like, I told her that, corporate, this is a corporation, this is not the old school where you can negotiate the printer or the whatever. This is, I mean, sometimes maybe it'll work, but they wouldn't discount it for her. She was getting very frustrated. And then I recognized she was Shelley Duvall. And I'm like, hey, no, I didn't do that. I just acted like she was another human being. Hey, let me see, you're that, weren't you Olive Oil? Anyway, I think she kept her house in Houston the whole time. And then she had a place she hung out in LA. What happened to her is, as she says in her own words, getting into the movies was a fluke for her. She was in Houston, and the movie people, Robert Altman in this case, were down in Houston, and she did a screen test or whatever and an audition, and that was her first gig, and she had a lot of success right away. And then, like a lot of stars, it faded, and I don't think she handled it too well. I can understand. The remedy for that is to put God first, right? Whatever you have that you think you lost, you had, whatever I thought I had in the negative sense, oh, I blew that. No, I got to finish Angel Tide. I inaccurately called it blowing it, but how could I have blown it? It needed 30 years to actually be completed. That's not my fault. It took 30 years for me to mature enough to finish it right? To pick the right, post-production treatment of it. So those are my thoughts. I do believe that since gang stalking and all that is, targeted in individuals, they're targeting individuals and groups now. It's mainstream. All those earlier incidents of it, there's an advanced technology involved, and we can go into that. There's a time-space continuum that gets interrupted. People get placed in different dimensions. It's interdimensional, and there's a dimension where everybody hates you. They know who you are, and they're coming after you. Can you accept that? For now, until we get together next time? Okay. Have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you next time. Just another routine case. It shouldn't be like any other. I guess we're going to have this dialogue now. Guards, leave us for a minute.
You can't take my peace. You can't take my peace away from me.
That's exactly what has been taken away, your peace.
It's not of this world, not subject to your moods or your rights.
Well, I've heard that from your people over and over again. Dead is still dead.
I'm not of this world, not subject to your failures and your control.
Sedition, that's your crime. That's what you'll pay for.
You won't take my perfect peace. I'm not the one who sold her soul.
It's not about the soul. It's about you being dead in about 20 minutes.
You might take my life, only if it's my time.
It's over. Admit it.
You can't take the peace and love in my heart away.
What are you talking about?
It's not of this world, but
What
you
world?
are of this world.
You're damn right I'm of this world. That's right, honey, this world's all you're gonna get.
You are
You're out of line. There is no way that I'm gonna listen to this. You're insane. You're crazy.
are the blight.
You're a blight. You're a blight, that's why you're being eliminated.
You want to fight,
There is no God.
but it's not me who is your enemy.
If you just shut up, this wouldn't be happening to you.
I don't understand anything. I've been over backwards for her and for her people and people like this. I've been around them my whole life. I understand them, but the law is the law. I have to uphold the law or not. Is it a law or is it not a law? Is it the way we live or is it the way you want chaos? You want everything to be in chaos? There are rules here. I gotta follow the rule. I don't understand why you're on me. Why am I supposed to feel guilty? What did I do wrong?
At all.
So what am I supposed to do about this?
I
because I can't be here. If I have thoughts like that, I can't exist here anymore. Look, I'm sorry. I really don't want to do this. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I just feel lost.